Hey super fans, Super Norse here, and this is a little bit of a childhood nightmare game of mine here, the Rocketeer on the Super Nintendo. A game that demonstrates what you don't want to do when creating games. Yes. Man, this game sucks. So let's get right into it here. So you got your standard 1-player, 2-player option, though I really don't know who would want to play this piece of junk with you. In fact, anyone ever wants to play this with them, they're wanting to torture you for some reason. So, let's get into it. Okay. So, basically, this is a race. I want to beat the other 2 lanes and do 10 laps around this dumb airfield. Pretty boring, if you ask me. But here's the shit kicker on the whole thing. You don't want to be looking at the top part of the screen there. Your eyes want to be on the little tiny screen down in the middle bottom part there. So you just want to watch that yellow plane there and keep it to the left. So like I swear that you're constantly just going to be wrestling the D-pad the whole time to keep this plane on the left of the area there. And you don't want to hit the damn posts either, because you'll slow down and then you'll lose the race. So there, I just beat these assholes, and it's really not as easy as it looks. It takes a little bit of getting used to. So, goody, you won the race. So you think you get to do something else now? No, we get to race again. Just a little bit harder this time. And while the concept of a race for this game isn't bad in itself, it's the way it's executed that I don't like. I can't help but feel that the screens should be switched. That little thing on the bottom that you're using actually to control the whole damn game should have been up top, whereas the top part, while you're watching it like horizontally, should be at the bottom. It's at least how I feel about it. Just doesn't make any goddamn sense. I don't know any other game where, for that whole aspect of controlling the game, you need to look at such a small window, whereas everything else is just fluff and there to look pretty, I guess. So the graphics are decent for really the time that this game was released, but still, a flawed design is flawed design. And so yeah, instead of 10 laps this time, you get to do 15 for some reason. Okay. And now we're about to win this piece of crap, so there. So now we get into the second portion of this game, these shootout sequences. And do they fare any better? Well, let's find out here. So you get to shoot people in a third-person perspective here. Well, kind of. This is 2D after all, but basically, we're in an aircraft hangar, and we get to shoot tons of freaking enemies that just pop up at screen. Not only does this get extremely boring from time to time, the game will make you do this multiple times. Not only not even changing up the background or anything like that. The same goddamn freaking aircraft hangar, just going back and forth shooting things. Whee! You can fly, because you are the Rocketeer, I guess. He has jetpacks, but you only have a limited amount of fuel. And this is just so damn boring. I mean, it just goes on forever too. I mean, all of this time you'll just be looking at that bottom enemy meter as it goes down ever so slowly, being like, ugh, I wish this would be over. And, like, the enemies don't even pop out against the backgrounds. Like, some of them blend in right in place, like the one that just popped up right here. And of course, since I had to point that out, I lost a lot of life and died, but fuck, whatever. You get the dead Rocketeer animation, or still image, and go back and try it again. And I mean, I suppose this shit's just digitized and whatnot, but just really doesn't look that good. I think that the aircraft field looks much better than this scene. Though, at least this scene actually has, I don't know, the picture kind of has a purpose at least, instead of just blah. Oh goody, fly up and around and whatnot. And yes, you do have to keep repeatedly tapping the A button over and over and over again to shoot these fucks. And that's just all this is here. This goes on forever. There's not even blood when you shoot enemies or anything. No death animations. They simply just disappear. I mean, when I was a kid, I had so many fun games to play on the Super Nintendo, sitting alongside this. This game never seen much time because of how boring it is. I had Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario All-Stars, and more. This was so boring compared to all of those, and I don't even know where this fucker came from. I've just always had it. And it sucks. And it's always sucked. So, now you're the Rocketeer, and you're flying the race, but this time it's piss easy because it seems like no matter what you do, you can't lose this. If you lose this race, you're a freaking moron. Especially after, how much more difficult it was to fly in the plane. And it's all still just wrestling with the D-pad every time the character wants to float to the right on the bottom screen down there. And if you try hard enough, you can lap these fuckers. Do I suggest you get good enough to do that? Hell no. Okay. So you won this. Now what do you think you get to do? Maybe something a little bit different. Maybe different kind of race. Maybe 3 Rocketeers or people on jetpacks to race against or something like that. No. You get more of the goddamn same shooting bullshit afterwards. Didn't even bother to change up the background. All they do now is they just added the grenades. And maybe they're a little bit harder or shoot you a little bit more. And this is just where I put down the game. Because it's just so tedious. And not only that, there's like this blue plane thing that you gotta fight once the enemies drop the enemies, you know, the life meter dies down. And it's just so boring. And of course, when the boss comes, you know, it doesn't, you know, you of course don't get, like health or anything like that. You gotta start the boss based on how you did with these fuckers. So, doesn't even like make it two separate scenes. To make it, you know, something less than an endurance run for the freaking player, because, and if you die on the boss, you get sent back to these fucks too. So, it's more freaking rage quitting for your power. More rage quitting for your money. That's must have been what they wanted when they were designing this game, was to make people as pissed off as they could in a Super Nintendo game. And they'll either do that at the beginning, when you're trying to learn how to play the game and fly that stupid plane, wondering why the hell nothing controls right when you don't realize you're supposed to look at the bottom screen like you would in 0 other games out there. And these grenades, they just throw them by the masses. And you do want to conserve your rocket fuel for this battle, I believe. And anyone who thinks that this would be fun must have like no taste in video games. I mean, there are much better shootout sequences that you can find on systems. And so, use the blue helicopter thingy, and yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can really do. You're getting hit. And then you're dead. You're dead. And guess what? It's back to these fucks. And you know what? That's when I say it's time to fucking turn off the Super Nintendo and go play something else. Because this game sucks.